Hi folks, we're taking a look now at number 5 from Unit 6 Quiz 2. Okay, and this is a pretty typical revenue problem, so let's read it here. So it says a landlord manages 100 apartments in a complex downtown, charges his tenants monthly. When the rent is $800 a month, all of the apartments are rented. For every $15 increase in rent, one apartment becomes empty. Determine the rent the landlord should charge in order to maximize the revenue. Okay. So as soon as you see one of these problems where you're making constant decreases or increases in price, okay, the way to go is to let the variable, your independent variable, so let's call it x, we're going to let it be the number of increases. So not the amount of the increase, but the number of increases. Okay, be the number of increases. Okay. Had the question been given talking about price decreases, I probably would let x be the number of price decreases. Okay. Now the reason why we do that is that it's going to allow us to write our equation for revenue using this one variable, because revenue is given by the number of units, in this case here, apartments, times the price for each apartment, in this case here, the rent. Okay, so the price per unit. Okay, so these are both variable terms, okay, because we're thinking of changing the price, so that's variable, and then the number of units will change, so that's also variable. But what we can do is write both of these variable terms in terms of that third variable x, which we've defined as the number of increases. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. So for the number of units, okay, what's going on? Well, you're starting with all 100 apartments rented now. So every time you increase, you lose one apartment. Okay, so if I have one increase, I lose one apartment. If I have two increases, I lose two apartments. So if I have x increases, I lose x apartments. So 100 minus x represents the number of units. Now let's look for the price per unit. Okay, right now for the 100 units, we're charging $800 a month, and we're thinking of increasing by 15 every time. Okay, so the rate of change here is 15. So I'm adding $15 times the number of increases I choose to apply. Okay, and we've achieved what we wanted to achieve because we have a function for the revenue and it's given in terms of only one variable. Notice that this function is quadratic, and if you look at the multiplication that gives us the x squared term, we see that the a value would be negative. So it makes sense to be looking for a maximum here. So one option I have is to FOIL this out, put it into standard form, and then complete the square. That would be fine, but it would be, I think, quite a bit longer than the method I'm going to use here. So since the revenue, the equation is already factored, okay, I can easily find the x-intercepts, and then I'm going to average the x-intercepts to find the x value of the vertex. Okay, so to find the intercepts, I need to make the revenue equal 0, and so that means that either one of these two expressions must be equal to 0. So what's going to make the first expression 0? Well, x equals 100. Okay, or we have 800 plus 15x equals to 0. So if we solve that, bring that to the other side, so it becomes negative. So I'm left with 800 over negative 15. Okay. So again, this is an application question, so I don't have any issues, sorry about that, with us estimating here. So 800 divided by negative 15. Okay, and we've got negative 53 and a third. Okay, I'll actually leave it as negative 53 and a third for now. Oh, negative. Okay, so now in order to find the x value of the vertex, or the h value, okay, we're going to average these out. So negative 53 and a third plus 100 divided by 2. Okay, so might as well use what I already have on my calculator. Oh, sorry about that again. So negative 53 and a third plus 100, okay, divided by 2, okay, and we've got 23.33. So this is the x value of the vertex. So this is the x value, okay, that's going to maximize revenue. But let's remember what that x value represents. It represents the number of increases. So they need to increase the price 23 and a third times in order to maximize the revenue. Okay, so now that I've got this information, let me go check what they're looking for. And it looks like the only thing they want is for me to determine the rent that has to be charged. Okay, so they're not looking for the maximum revenue, they're not looking for the number of apartments, they're just looking for the rent. And this expression here is what gives me the rent. So that's the only one I have to work with. So the rent, okay, is going to be given by 800, okay, plus 15 times x, so 23.333, so on and so forth. So here, again, I can use what's already on my calculator. So 23.33333 times 15, okay, and then plus 800. And there you go, 1150. So $1,150 is the rent that has to be charged to maximize the revenue. So just to recap, when it's one of these questions where we're increasing or decreasing by a fixed amount every time, let x be the number of changes, the number of increases or decreases. Write an equation for your revenue, okay? And in any case, if the equation you write is already factored and you're looking for maximum, it might be easier to just find the zeros and average them out. And then with that, you can answer the question that's being posed. Okay?